I think all forms of lying get us in trouble. They get us in trouble in life. They really mess up our intimate relationships. And people have ways of rationalizing lies. So they'll tell a lie, and a lie they don't think is that big of a deal, and they'll call that a white lie. Or they'll do something that is a big deal, and it shows up in a lot of relationships because it can have an abusive edge as well. And that's a lie by omission. A lie by omission is when you tell a little bit of the truth, but the details, the significant details, are omitted. And what ends up happening is as the situation goes on, the other partner finds out more and more of the detail, leading them to feel like they can't really trust you, that they're more suspicious. Why were you hiding more of the details? This shows up when there's infidelity. This shows up whenever the partner that is lying by omission basically is nervous about what they did. They may feel ashamed. They may regret it. They may be worried that if their partner finds out the truth, they will be so upset they'll break it off. And I'm telling you that lying by omission, even though you may feel relieved, you may feel like, okay, well, I told him the truth, I just didn't give all the gory details. You may think that's okay, but you are not saving your partner anything. In fact, you are adding to the destruction and erosion of the relationship. I want to tell you some ways that lying by omission shows up and hurts the relationship, because I deal with this every day. The first is erosion of trust. When your partner starts finding out more of the truth and they can't rely on you to tell the whole truth, what ends up happening is they start backing away. They're not as vulnerable. They don't trust you as much. Where they used to feel like they could tell you anything, now they're not going to. And they're going to start holding back on their truth with you as well. Secondly, they have increased anxiety and stress. You may too, because deep inside you know you didn't tell them the truth and they might find out, but the partner can feel the edge and they may start feeling more anxious. They're watching you and they can tell something's wrong with you, but they don't know what it is. So their own stress and anxiety starts rising with them in them because they don't feel settled about what you're lying about. They know there's something more. They just don't know what it is. And sometimes they'll go, man, it must be me. What is happening? There's a weakening of the bond between the two of you because as you didn't tell the truth, your partner can see or feel there's an edge to that, and your partner starts getting shaky. And they're the one that actually can break this whole thing down. Because if they find out some of the details later, the longer it goes on before you tell them everything, all of the details, the worse it is. Because they will punish you for all this anxiety they feel about it. And also, they will punish you for not being honest with them, for holding back, for making them appear stupid or dumb when they do find out. And they will not let go of this. This is not going to be something that's just swept under the rug. They're going to remember this about you, making that more likely that they're going to be suspicious, less trusting of you when you say, well, I'm just going to go out with my buddies, or wherever you go. They're not going to trust you as much. There begins to grow a resentment because your partner has this feeling that something's not right. They tell you everything, you hold back. They're going to start feeling resentful of their life with you. Like, why can't we be open and transparent and honest and really talk about things, feel vulnerable without, with instead of you just not saying anything or saying it wasn't a big deal or whatever of the details you're omitting when you do tell them something significant that's going on. There's a damage in communication. If you can't open up, If you can't be vulnerable with the whole truth, if you can't be transparent, then why should they? And you can see they're starting to react. And as they react, as they withdraw, guess what happens to you? You start getting anxious too, because all of a sudden, because you weren't honest with them and they know something's up and they're starting to act different, you're going to respond to that. It becomes a vicious cycle. There's a decline in personal integrity and self-esteem. When you lie to someone, especially someone significant, even if it's, the lie is something you say, well, it's not a big deal. I just didn't tell them everything. They didn't need to know everything, but you know, your body knows, and you start feeling worse about yourself. That old adage that always tell the truth will set you free, that plays in your mind. And somewhere deep in your conscious, you know you should come clean with everything. But now you're scared. Now you're scared because you know you lied to them, and that's going to show up. 7, there is a potential breakdown, a potential breakup, because your partner, as this goes on, you're not communicating as well, things are going to change. And all of a sudden, you're not going to feel close. Your partner's withdrawing, you're getting nervous about your partner's withdrawing, you start acting different. It feels fake, it doesn't feel real, and it's not real. Why should they trust you? And as this goes on, it only gets worse. There are things you can do to prevent this from happening in your relationship. The first thing is practice radical transparency. Lay everything on the table. Let your partner decide what does and doesn't need to be dealt with. Address the root cause. Why are you afraid to talk openly? What happens? Maybe it's your partner's reaction. Maybe you need to work on that together so this doesn't happen again. Set new expectations. Like I said, when you practice transparency, radical transparency, it's going to come out everywhere, and you guys are going to be able to trust each other more. Do regular check-ins. Ask each other, how are you feeling? Was that the whole truth when you told me everything? Or are there some things on your heart you need to tell me now? And lastly, if you have trouble being transparent with each other, that's not a little thing, that's a big thing. Seek professional help. That's something in the pre-engagement class that you guys should be aware of, and you should know up front before you ever get deep in a relationship with someone that you suspect is a liar by omission. If this video is helpful for you, please subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much.